Home, Congressman Roger Marshall, representing Kansas's 1st Congressional District. 1st Congressional District, also first in America for agriculture and agricultural exports. This hits the reciprocal tariffs that are coming as a result of President Trump's tariffs and trade policies hit your district particularly hard. How worried are your constituents?
Certainly trade and tariffs are top on everybody's minds back home. Like you said, as usual, agriculture is the tip of the spear when it comes to retaliation. So overnight we saw the price of sorghum drop $1 a bushel. Now Mexico's talking about tariffs on pork. So this is all hitting us home really quickly.
What does that mean for a farmer in your district?
Well, already our income is 50% of what it was 2 years for the average agriculture produces. Now all these trade issues, these tariff issues are creating more uncertainty and driving the price of commodities down. We're walking into the harvest season for wheat. We still have wheat left from 2 years ago sitting on empty runways in the middle of nowhere in Kansas, and we can't ship anywhere. So what are we going to do with this year's crops?
The president addressed that a little bit earlier at his press conference, essentially saying, look, I'm worried not only about farmers, but about manufacturing jobs as well. Take a listen.
They're either going to make the trades fair because our farmers have been hurt. You look at our farmers, for 15 years, the graph is going just like this, down. Our farmers have been hurt. Our workers have been hurt. Our companies have moved out and moved to Mexico and other countries, including Canada. Now, we are going to fix that situation.
He says we're going to fix it. What it sounds like, though, is that the cure might be worse than the disease right now.
Leland, it's been a tough couple months in agriculture, but there's lots of opportunities here. I appreciate the president's commitment. Mexico is ripe. Mexico is ready to finish up a NAFTA agreement. We met with the Mexico ambassador this past week. A great conversation. Canada doesn't want to get serious about negotiating right now. So I understand where the president is coming from. Until Canada respects us and quits having high tariffs on milk and stops stealing our intellectual property, we have to deal with them. But Mexico's
Canada
ready.
Stealing our intellectual property, or China stealing our intellectual property?
Yes.
Canada stealing our intellectual property is a new one on me.
I think mostly they disrespect it. So I think if you're in the movie industry or the music industry, they don't respect it. Lots of counterfeit goods come from China through Canada into our markets as well.
This brings up an important point, because at the same time that you're dealing with our allies in putting tariffs on whether it be European goods or Canadian goods or Mexican goods, the president is also trying to deal with China. Would it be more important to focus on China first before dealing with our friends?
I think we need to take care of Mexico. I think once Mexico agreement is made, Canada will fall in line, the European Union will fall in line, then we can work together on China.
Bringing it back, though, to the farmers in your district, can they afford the retaliatory tariffs that are going to come over the next months or years as the agreements you talk about are being worked out?
I think if we get NAFTA and the European Union, we can survive what's got to happen with China. There's going to be some blood.
That's a big if.
It's a big if. The president has to do us. He promised us better trade agreements. I believe in him. It's been a year and a half, though. It's time to get Mexico done. Canada will fall in line.
You're talking about a year and a half to just getting Mexico maybe done. Then we've got Canada, then you've got Europe, then you've got China. That's a lot of pain for people in your district. Would they be better served by the status quo?
I think agriculture in the short term probably would, but in the long term, no. We have to go after China. China is stealing maybe $500 billion of our intellectual property every year. We send over sorghum to them, and they stop the shipments in mid right over there. So we have to address some of these problems with China. I understand that, and my ag producers are willing to stand beside the president on China, but we need NAFTA yesterday.
So willing to stand behind him despite the pain if you get NAFTA done?
It's an incredible group of people, agriculture are. They're very patriotic. They understand what's going on with China. When I had the opportunity to explain to them what's going on with the intellectual property theft, then they stand right there beside the president.
Well, noteworthy, he can afford to lose a few points in your district, too. What is it, Republican plus 40?
At least. And growing every day.
All right, so his support is safe in Kansas is first. Good to see you, Congressman. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Liz?
President Trump now heading from the G7 summit in Canada to his anticipated